All right, Cop Talk Live, changing cop culture. It's Wednesday night. Hope you guys are doing well. I'm Dominic Izzo, and if this is the first time you're checking out any of the content, this is a pro law enforcement channel. Wednesday night, live, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 Central, 7 Mountain, and 6 Pacific. We talk about cop culture and changing it. One of the only programs, if not the only one right now, that is actually taking your calls live, where I don't care if you're pro-police, you're anti-police, you got something to say, then we're going to call in and we're going to have a conversation. You guys are always awesome about picking up the phone and calling in and chiming in with your thoughts. I got a lot to talk about tonight. We have to go over some awesome stuff. Don't forget, if you're new though, check out our website, coptalklive.org. Here we go, coptalklive.org. You get newsletters, videos, commentary, a whole lot. When you click on the website, a button or a box will pop up and it says put your email address in there. Type your email address in there. You'll be notified. You're not going to be spammed like once a day or maybe about maximum about 5 times a week. You'll get an article with a police incident betrayal of the badge when we had Kyle Armstrong on, retired Captain Kyle Armstrong on. His interview, what the story would happen to him was absolutely outstanding. Remember, the channel is pro law enforcement, but it doesn't mean that it's pro cop, so to speak. What I mean by that, it means if we got shit cops out there, I get it, man. I can't stand them. I want cops. I'm hard on them. I'll be the asshole. I'm the villain, so the cops will step up to the plate and go, yeah, no, this guy's a dick, but he makes me want to change some stuff. Also, a couple of days ago, I finally covered the content of the sheriff's office where 4 deputies within like a certain amount of time had all taken their own lives. I'm going to tell you this flat out. I know firsthand. I had several incredible conversations over the last couple of days, and I apologize if I have not gotten back to you. I've gotten a ton of emails, direct messages, text messages. I have to go in my direct message request folders for a lot of things. I've talked to so many of you on the phone about what goes on with your command staff, and I understand it. And the best I could do is listen to you. You know, years ago when I started talking about stuff with law enforcement, I was blessed. I was a current cop, and I had a really decent sized following on, it was only Facebook was the only one around. And when what happened to me, everybody, when I took a salty, bitter, angry attitude towards it, people like, oh, you're a blue falcon now. You know, you got blah, 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 blah. It's like, yeah, I'm heartbroken. I'm pissed what my department did to me. It sucks. And people just, they shit ex-cops and current cops shit on guys who are in law enforcement. But the amount of people who I actually spoke to the last several days, who you guys have been through things with your department, that it doesn't shock me. It blows me away. I'm here, and the best I can do is offer you an ear and offer you a place to tell your story. I have people lined up that we're going to be telling their stories on podcast interviews. I think that this needs to be done. You need to see the side of law enforcement where cops who actually give a shit about the public and care, they're screwed over. And you need to know what it's like from an internal side instead of just backing the blue arbitrarily. So if you are at the point, and I'm no suicide counselor whatsoever, all I could do is offer you an ear. And I've said it before, my number's public, 708-982-0974. That's the same line that will open up for calls in a bit. Call me, text me. I will get back to you as quickly as I can. Even if you don't want to talk to me, even if you're like, I can't stand you, who else can I talk to? I will send you to the direction of other officers out there and former cops out there who know what you're going through. A couple of housekeeping things today. I want to point out, everybody needs to go to Copville over on YouTube. He's starting to put out some podcasts that I think are of some quality and content we need in the community. We don't agree on everything, but that's the awesome part of having mature police officers and ex-police officers who actually know the job and could take their alpha, their dominant personality, and still act with each other in a strong way. So I support Copville in this YouTube channel. I'd like to see this get up to 10,000 subscribers. And with your help, it can. We're at 464 subscribers on Copville. Let's blow the shit out of the water. And let's do that. Let's show him some love over there. First thing I want to do tonight, I want to go over a traffic stop, believe it or not. Out of all the garbage that I put up online, it's awesome when you guys send me stuff that I'm like, holy crap. I had never heard of the Coral Springs Police Department. I had only seen certain types of, live PD and stuff like that. They wanted to do live PD, not specifically live PD, but they wanted to do something like that before it came out. I had a former CBS producer, I think, I think that was who it was, reach out to our department back when I started getting some notoriety back in 2015, and he was in talks with my chief about doing something like this as well too, and it never came through. But now we see this is the content I'd like to see in law enforcement, and specifically after watching about 5 or 6 videos today on the Coral Springs Police Department, their content. I'm very hopeful that with this is not the only ones out there that are doing this, but specifically, I have never seen so far to date more professional men and women who represent law enforcement. Yes, men and women. The women that I've seen from the Coral Springs Police Department, I would work with them. I'm extremely impressed with the professionalism of the Coral Springs Police Department. I want to play this one traffic stop because this one kind of hit home for me. It was, this is it. Anyone's like, you ever missed a badge? I'm like, absolutely not. No, that's a lie. There is one damn thing that I miss having a badge over. And you would be surprised today how many people still in 2025 will drive around with their kids not in seatbelts. And I'm talking young kids, 3, 4, 5. It blows me away. People have infants on their lap. It's like, are you kidding me? Are you out of your mind? I miss watching the utter terror on the parents' face when I would pull up in traffic off duty in my own personal vehicle, and I would hold my badge up right at the window and I would stare at the mom or the dad until they wind up looking at me, and I would just hold that badge up and watch them all of a sudden yell at their kids as if it was their fault. I miss that. I wish if there's ever a time, and I talk about this nonstop, I did what do you call it? A survey, a poll that asked if people support cops using force to discipline people on calls, traffic stops who disrespect them. 24% of the people who voted yes, they support that. You guys are brain dead. You guys are morons. There may be hope for you, I don't know. But I think if ever there was a 100% acceptable incident to where a cop could come up and 5-star an adult across the face would be if they observe their child unrestrained in a car seat or no seatbelt while moving. I think a parent should honestly have their child ripped from their household, begging and screaming and crying and pleading until they actually learned right. I don't like the state involved in anything, but I got a solution for that, right? Blows me away too. I don't know why. Somebody help me out on this one. I know car seats expire. Somebody tell me why the states, since they like to give so much shit away for free, why doesn't the state offer free car seats for moms and dads? And then after your child grows out of it, you give it back to the state. State can recycle it, all this shit. I don't understand why we give away so much money for other stuff. We can't do that. But if there's a time you should have your ass beat by a cop, it should be that with your kids. I want to play this stop from Go Easy on Me, Traffic Thursday, episode 56 from the Coral Springs Police Department over on YouTube.
No seatbelt, nothing. Tango 32, 1050, Royal Palm, Riverside. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Officer Didino, Coral Springs Police Department. Reason why I'm stopping you, why do you have this little baby in the front seat with no seatbelt on, no nothing?
He wouldn't stay still.
Huh?
He wouldn't stay still.
So pull over and do what you have to do as a father, but why? I see you driving over here, you're just, little baby's he's hanging out on the front dashboard. Okay? License, registration, insurance, please.
I don't have none on me.
Huh?
I don't have none on me.
You don't have none on you? What do you mean?
I don't have my ID.
Where is it?
He's at work.
What's your first name? How old's the baby?
3.
Simple. How old?
3. I know it's a mistake, but just go easy on me. You know?
Huh?
I know it's a mistake, but go easy on me.
Absolutely not, sir.
I love that with everything I was, and this cop had me instantly hooked with his professionalism, extremely polite. My blood would have boiled. Right, you pull up and you see a kid bouncing around the front seat, and families, they don't give a shit. White, black, Hispanic, Asian, I have seen, it's an epidemic, and it's not racially specific when it comes down to the culture. It is disgusting, it's vile, it's something I hate. It makes me seething, filled with hatred. This cop walks up to the car, unbelievably professional, and he got in his personal, absolutely not, and walked away. When I saw this, I'm like, this has got to be a fluke, right? And I went to Coral Springs Instagram page and I watched several other of their officers. At least every single video I watched, every single one was professional. This is what I would want to see out of every cop in America. I've said it before. There's a podcast with me asking him about it together, but Fridays with Frank. I don't have any respect for the way that Frank Sloop operates as a cop on the street. I think it's distasteful. I think it's an ego trip. And I think someday he's going to get his ass beat by somebody who's not going to take a shit. That's how it is. But then you'll get the whole cavalry come in, and then it'll be a bad day for that guy. I cannot stand disrespect on traffic stops. You're already pulling somebody over. Yes, in this specific instant, this guy 100%, in my opinion, deserves jail time. But this cop was professional, beyond professional. This is how it needs to be done. I want to hear more of this, and this is just, I cannot... Coral Springs Police, I cannot speak highly enough about you guys today, especially after the last several months and years. We've seen nothing but complete disastrous embarrassment from law enforcement, especially agencies that have no standards on their cops acting a certain type of way when it comes to how they operate on social media.
The reason why we stopped this white Kia, we were traveling westbound on Royal Palm. The white Kia is traveling eastbound on Royal Palm. I see a little infant, what I believe to be, he actually ends up being 3 years old. He's hanging out on the dashboard with his feet on the seat, standing up, while the dad's just driving regularly. We end up stopping him. He's asking me to give him a break because it's just a mistake, but it's obviously not a mistake. It's a very, very poor decision. He's going to be getting a few citations. Sir, put your window down. Let me ask you something. You don't even have a seat back here. You don't have nothing. Huh? What do you mean, yeah?
I understand.
You don't understand, okay?
I completely understand. I thought it was a mistake. I do understand.
Okay, so you are getting a citation for...
See, this is where Frank would be a jagoff. And I'm solo picking out him because so many people love how he talks. And I'll give you some insight. It was always, for most part, every cop I've ever heard, we've always had the same rule. If you read someone the Riot Act, you do not issue a citation. If you issue a citation, you don't read them the Riot Act. You don't do both, right? I don't have respect for what Frank does because he's doing both. And I don't like treating people like they're pieces of shit. Does it feel good? Why would I ever lie about shit? To have the ability to stand over you on a traffic stop and motherfuck you, it feels fucking great. It feels great. Any cop who's saying these, because you're automatically going to win. People are going to challenge you, this and that. You've got the final word. You're detaining them. You get to let them go when you're done. You didn't release them yet. It is a power trip and a half, and I was drunk on it. I loved it. When it comes to use of force, I'm very much, there has to be a limit to where you leave your emotions out of use of force. As a male who loves competitive sports, who was a competitive wrestler, a wrestling coach, a martial arts expert, do I love to go hands-on? Fucking love it. Fucking love it. It doesn't mean you celebrate it when you do it to people who are already in a losing position against you. Cops already win when they're on the street. They're armed. Granted, every citizen, as far as I'm concerned, should be armed. It's your Second Amendment right. I do believe that all gun laws are unconstitutional. But my point being is, you've already got it in the citizen's head. If they're stopped by you, whatever, they can't go toe to toe with you, because it doesn't matter how righteous they are. You could have 100% illegally stopped somebody on the street, kidnapping them, right? You as a cop, whatever, and I'm sure it happens every single day in America. A cop pulls somebody over for no valid reason, kidnapping. So if we have that, and you have somebody who's going to wind up violating your constitutional rights, does the American citizen not have the right to wind up using any force necessary to defend themselves? Second Amendment? Why not? But if you had a malicious cop who pulled you over, there's no body camera like Polk County, and the cop says, I felt like pulling you over today because you're black, and I can, and there's not a goddamn thing you could do about it. And that citizen who's in fear for their safety says, this is not happening. That's a domestic terrorist, and they use the Second Amendment to defend themselves. Well, what's going to happen? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if this cop, if the guy recorded it on his cell phone, you're going to get the cavalry show up, and the citizen's going to get gunned down. They already know that. There's no resisting. It's futile. So when it comes to this, I love the professionalism. Again, you guys can watch this video in totality. It's on the Coral Springs YouTube channel. They have an Instagram channel. The entire, and the sad thing is you guys did have Frank on a traffic stop with you. I just don't agree with him. I just don't, because the one problem is, and I said this to him, because so don't think that I haven't said this to his face, so to speak, but the problem when you celebrate treating people like an asshole, Frank can do it. He's an older man. I think he's got to be close to my age. And he is able to do it in a way that he can get away with it. Can you imagine a 21-year-old kid fresh out of the academy seeing and worshiping Frank's videos and then going out on the street and acting like that? It's not going to bode well for that young cop. It just will not do it. So I don't agree with not being professional, and I want cops to be professional. Coral Springs, you guys 100% are in a position right now to set an example, especially for traffic stops and whatnot. I want to go over some stuff. I put on a poll or a couple questions for today, and we'll be getting into this before we get into the main video. And then calls are already coming in. Guys, just send a text message, and I'll in about 30 minutes or so, I'll open up the phones for you. These are questions that I had because I asked people, what are your questions about law enforcement? And I'm not going to read the name of this one, but not a question. I find it difficult and unsafe to work along the TikTok cops, as you should. The TikTok, and I put this up on Instagram for those who were wondering. The TikTok cops are just, they're a detriment and a danger to your profession. I reposted a video of a girl today who 90% of her content is lip syncing in the car. Her squad in uniform. What do you expect to accomplish? You're a danger. You are an absolute danger to the profession, to where when it comes to force and you have to use force, where's your mindset at? Where's your mindset at? I'm going to go back and I'm going to blow them all day today in this video. Coral Springs, holy shit. You guys have your shit wired tight, and I fucking love seeing it. Those are guys and gals that need to represent law enforcement across the country as far as I'm concerned. Fat cool guy hat. Why do cops have huge egos? Are you kidding me? Dude, when you have if you've ever done the job, it's an instant answer to that question. You have the authority to speed, fly down the street. You ever want to see the abuse of driving privileges? Go check out Chicago police when their lights and sirens are not on. They don't give a rat fuck about who's driving where. No lights, no sirens. They will run over you on the sidewalk. They have no regard for human life when it comes down to driving skills. In your personal car, I sped all the time. I was pulled over twice, just said, hey, I didn't flash the badge like CPD does. I said, just let you know, I'm off duty. This is me. And you hope that you're not going to get a ticket. In today's day and age, if you abuse that authority, I think you should get a ticket. The last DUI I ever wrote was a cop. I have no regard for that. You get away with shit. I'm a cop. Just saying that, it's an incredibly narcissistic leverage of power in a situation. Can't tell you how many times when I was younger, a bar fight would start. You walk up and go, I'm a cop. And then boom, it would stop. It's like, I have no authority off duty. I have no seizure powers off duty, but I could threaten you. It's a fucking drunk addict. That piece of tin, faux metal in your pocket, in your back pocket, it is insane. Addiction. Josino, why do some Americans, police officers, train in Israel? Don't ask me about that. I have no idea about the Israeli special forces or why there's such a fascination with training with them. I don't know any of them who do, so I have no answer for you on that one. I never have. I have no interest in it whatsoever. If you're talking about Krav Maga, I think it's an unevolved martial art. It's only, 65 years old, so it still has some evolutions to go through, and I don't know what the tactics are there. It's just KJ. Responsibilities of the sheriff, deputy, chief. How does each role function? When I ran in 2018 for Cook County Sheriff out here in Chicago, my platform was police first, and I had to explain it quite a bit. I think that a sheriff or a chief of police, their main job, their duty is not to the citizens of the county or the city that they swore in. Their 100% focus needs to be pure support. And I'm talking pressure of the highest standards, highest expectations, but they need to focus every single thing that tell the voters, hey, listen, you voted for me, but I'm focused on something else. Tell the mayor, you may be my boss, but fuck you. They need to focus on support for patrol and their brass, because their brass has their head up their ass. But why do we have a group of men and women who are on the street and they have no support? They're constantly disciplined for the most petty of shit reasons out there. And their chief is too busy keeping his job, and their sheriffs are too busy going up online trying to give a press conference at a podium that's going to get them a viral video. It's a fucking joke. If they spent more time, there's a video that's going around of a sheriff, I don't know where he's out of, who was, for the first time I've ever seen, supporting his officers on department policy. When 90% of the time they use that department policy to string you up for discipline. I think the role of a sheriff or a chief needs to be 100% focused on the betterment, the morale, and the proper leadership of the department, so that those cops can then go out and the deputies can go out in the street and properly serve the citizens. So what do I mean in a long answer? You elect a mayor and the mayor appoints a chief of police. Chief of police doesn't work for the citizens of the town. Chief of police works for the cops. Those cops then, who are better resourced, work for the citizens. So does the sheriff. You elect the sheriff in, sheriff doesn't work for you. Sheriff works to improve on the most pristine level possible to make a preeminent law enforcement agency of whatever state, county, municipality that they're in. So these men and women go out the street and they serve you better than anyone else. I think that's how it should be. That's what I would have done had I had won the sheriff's election in 2018, but instead got my ass kicked because of Chicago. Thoughts on PA police from True Libertarian? None whatsoever. I don't have any thoughts on it whatsoever. One bad RS4. Why do police officers have qualified immunity? It's not like they're gods. So let's take a look at this for a second. What is qualified immunity? And I'm just going to pull up a really quick Google search so we can look at this for a second together here. Qualified immunity shields government officials, including police officers, from civil lawsuits unless their actions violated clearly established constitutional or statutory right, meaning a reasonable person would have known the conduct was unlawful. And then you could read the rest of it. The biggest problem I have with qualified immunity is I've never seen it. I've never seen it. Oh, wait, there was just one. There was a cop who was just involved with a shooting of a tow truck driver, and I tried to see if it was off duty, and apparently, from what I read, it wasn't off duty, and the court stripped him of a qualified immunity, which I was kind of blown away with. But there's a cop that pulled over a guy on a traffic stop, and I can't remember one of the guys on YouTube, Legal Defense Shield, I believe that's him, who is actually defending the driver. And I've covered this before, the driver laughed and the cop pulls him out of the car and arrests him and blah, 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 blah. And that is a clear, I don't know how much more clear it can get, clearly established violation of a constitutional right, free speech. And the courts are kind of ruling in favor for the cops so far. It's like, how is this possible? If you guys had seen the iced tea traffic stop, that dumb, stupid police officer acknowledges on body camera, I was going to do X, Y, and Z, but then you said X, Y, and Z. And the amount of people were like, well, that you think he violated his First Amendment right. That's pretty fucking clear that he did. It is clearly established. The cop was going to do X, Y, and Z, but what do we call that? We protect cops with discretion. And then you also have to look at intent, right? Well, the cop didn't intend to violate his constitutional rights. Bullshit. Free speech is a clear one. The fact that we have these armies of First Amendment auditors blows me the fuck away. How we're still going through this. You still have First Amendment auditors that are able to make content. I mean, like Sean Reyes for Long Island Audit. Anybody should see him coming, should walk the fuck. Nope. Just walk away. How do we still have cops out there who see Sean from Long Island Audit walking or standing, and these morons still walk up and engage him? Well, it's just like with Chili DeCastro, who I don't have respect for Chili DeCastro. I don't like his tactics. I just do not. They're unprofessional. But these cops are going up to him as they are Sean, trying to find a reason to hook him because their egos are hurt. So, when it comes down to this is vague. They're offered qualified immunity unless their actions they're violated a clearly established constitutional statutory right. If you put somebody in handcuffs after they say something and you've told them not to say it, I don't know. I mean, aside from yelling, fire in a crowded movie theater and it's disorderly conduct, is a different story. So qualified immunity, the solution, I've said a million times, I would like to see officers have licensing instead of certification. I went to the academy for 3 months and I had another 3 months of field training. And then I was on probation from the 6 months, another 12 months after that. So it's like, okay, my sister got her license in cutting hair. 11 months, Monday through Friday, 8 hours a day, and she's licensed. And then she has to renew it every 2 years. I thought I wanted to go into real estate. I got my real estate license. It's like, okay, you have to relicense. But cops, once you're certified, you're certified. That's it. There's no continuing education that you have to keep up with. If there is now, that'd be a great thing. It's a pass or fail with your firearms. It's a pass or fail with a Constitution test. It blows me away. I would like to see licensing. I would like to see, just like your driver's license. It's not a privilege to drive, it's not a right to drive. It's a privilege. Well, it's not a right to be a cop. It's a privilege. So if we have licenses for drivers that they have to test, I just turned 50. So I had to go get my driver's license renewed. I actually had to go to the DMV, take a vision test, right? Because when you're 50, that's what you have to do. Okay, so I have to do that because it's not a right. I've been driving for, how much was it, 36, 34 years now? Yeah, 16. So it's like, all right, aren't I good at this? No, the state requires X, Y, and Z. Well, and I'm required insurance on my vehicle. Now, anytime I break the law and I'm caught speeding, moving violation, and I'm sent to court and I plead guilty or I lose if I fight it, it's a conviction against my record. I'm convicted of speeding, convicted of driving recklessly. 3 of them, my license becomes suspended. My insurance will clearly drop me. Why don't we have that same thing for police officers? Now, citizens are going to complain about you like crazy. Well, founded complaints, because we know organizations like COPA don't like to hold police accountable at all. If you have a credible, and I think it needs to be a definite civilian and police board, retired police board, and biases have to be clearly explained and considered. But if investigations are done and a cop's got 3 complaints, in a X amount of time period, let's just say they renew their license every 2 years, you get 3 complaints that are valid, not unfounded every 2 years, well, you're going to get your license suspended. I think we need to go to that. And you need personal insurance. I think you need personal insurance so the citizens stop paying for your fuck-ups on the street, if that makes sense. We will get to 708-982-0974, 708-982-0974. This one was sent to me by Mark over. If you guys have any videos you want me to review, Cop Talk Live 911 at gmail.com is where you send. I watched the first 30 seconds of this, and what am I supposed to say for this? This is insane. So let's give this a watch together. This is actual footage from cops end their careers after disturbing incident with a dead body. I believe this is Salt Lake Police.
You been on a dead body? No, you haven't been on a dead body.
No, this is the first one.
So you gotta help move.
No. Really?
Yes.
I feel like you're pranking me.
I'm not.
Take this. All right, what do you want me to do?
Shield your face.
Shield.
It looks like it's mostly gas.
Go ahead and just pop all the blisters.
You guys suck.
We had to do that, yeah.
In Salt Lake City, Utah, on August 8, 2024, a routine police response to a deceased homeless male takes a disturbing and vile turn. What begins as a teaching moment for a new recruit quickly escalates, placing multiple officers under investigation for misconduct and igniting public outrage.
Sure you're all right?
Yeah, I'm
Hey,
fine.
I mean, you gotta pop some bubbles.
The following report is based on official police records, and most of the following footage has never been seen before until now. Just after 12:30 p.m., Field Training Officer Mark Keep and his trainee, Recruit Dakota Smiggle, join two other officers who have arrived on scene to confirm reports of a deceased adult male.
I don't see anything. Like his tent's not. I mean, his tent's kind of like.
Yeah, but it's like he fell into it, kind of thing. Like he fell over.
Because
like
it's leaning that direction. There's not blood all over, so.
I mean,
There is blood on
sometimes-
his face, though.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see.
There's no splatter inside the tent, is there?
Oh, yeah. He does have a bloody nose. There's that smell.
I mean, crime scene, 2024. I was just a patrol officer, never a detective, never command staff, but you find a dead body and there's no, witnesses, and it's just kind of called in or something, and then you could see any type of signs of visible trauma. Salt Lake was clearly bigger than the agencies I worked for. You call your supervisor, and you don't trample all over or contaminate the scene. Maybe Salt Lake Police. I have to look at this for a second. I want to see what the size. I drove through, rolled in train through Salt Lake City. Didn't get to see it because it was night. Salt Lake City population. Yeah, 1.2 million people. You're going to have a very large police force. And here you have cops fucking all over a potential crime scene. But let's continue.
Okay. So, I mean, it might not be a bad idea to have homicide come to check. Okay. So. All right. Well, let's get your tape. Yep. Let's walk this out.
Recruit Smiggle secures the scene with tape as Officer Peterson catches her colleagues up to speed on the situation.
Is his face pressure?
No.
No, he's been there.
But he's got a lot of blood on him.
Okay.
More than what I normally see.
Officer Keep and Recruit Smiggle decide to head back to the tent to search the man's belongings for identification. As they leave, nearby officers are overheard discussing the new recruit.
That's what we call it. Smeagol. They call him Gollum. His father-in-law is Captain Smart.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so we give him so much. So, not to mess with the body.
Just try and get in his pockets or his bags.
Nope.
We don't touch the bags. Don't touch body.
Leave body alone.
Bags.
Officer Keep's explicit instructions to leave the body alone, however, won't stand for long. Among the man's belongings, they find 2 phone chargers, 1 phone, hygiene items, a plastic pen tube that Recruit Smiggle identifies as paraphernalia, and cash. No identification is found. Officer Mullinex, another field training officer, arrives at the scene and gathers additional details from the witness who first reported the body to the police.
What's up, boss?
What's up, man?
How's it going?
I'm alright. So, I was walking through, and some Polynesian dude waved me down over here. He was like halfway walking from that wall over here.
Yeah.
He gets over here. He's like, I think I found a dead body. So he's not moving. I get over there and meet him. I'm like, dude, obviously it's a dead body. Why have you called the cops? You know what I mean? He's obviously dead. And then I called you guys, stayed on the phone until the dude kind of grabbed the phone and left. And yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't touch nothing over there.
I got you.
That speaker that was there, you see that box?
Yeah, I saw a box.
Yeah, that dude stole that. He took it. Yeah, it's real nice.
That's
It's a piece
awesome.
move.
Yeah.
Piece move, dude.
That's
I don't give a fuck.
real
It's a
nice.
dead person, man. Yeah, it's dead person. No, I'm cool. It's sad.
Well, I appreciate you
Yeah,
not
of course.
leaving and actually calling.
Of course.
As their conversation continues in the shade, their discussion inadvertently foreshadows a later incident that will soon bring multiple officers under intense scrutiny.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Crazy, bro.
I agree. It's pretty.
It's low. It's real low. It's real low, man.
Yeah. And also, I mean, you start taking stuff. Unfortunately, you start taking stuff from people who are deceased. You're starting to walk a line between desecration of a body.
Exactly.
Which is.
It is not a pretty charge.
It's pretty charged, but also, you know, it's kind of just to be quite honest and fair, it's a piece of thing to do.
It is. It is, dude.
I have no problem talking to people like that at all. No problem whatsoever. There's a point in time where you're like relating to the public and you talk to them like you would as a member of the public. You can still be professional and say, hey, dude, there's a big difference between, you're a piece of shit and, what you were doing, man, you were acting like a piece of shit. There's a difference between the two of them, right? So I have no problem when it comes down to real language. Cops are using them with citizens. I used to say this all the time. Like, you have to talk to the level of what the citizen understands you. I got a traffic stop once. Like, in my town, if you called someone sir, it's like they thought you were trying to fuck around with them and disrespect them. It's like you weren't doing it. I asked a guy once 3 times, turn the car off. On the 4th time, it was, turn the fucking car off. Well, you didn't have to yell at me like that. Well, yeah, but I spoke to you with the level of understanding that you required, and you did what I needed you to do. So I don't mind language like this sometimes.
So
you don't do that. You don't do that.
The situation takes a sudden turn when a bystander alerts police to a nearby building. After explaining there are multiple people inside, the police head over to investigate.
Do you have the code? Well, there's stairs to the left.
Okay.
And then there goes back into the front there. Hey, Salt Lake City Police!
Come on out.
Who's up there?
I heard him.
It's up top there. You can smell the campfire.
Yeah, I can too.
Salt Lake City Police! We heard you up there. Come on down.
Nah.
So for the most part, we all kind of stopped clearing this building because of how bad it has been. But
so are we just going to barricade the door or what?
You know,
So
lock
are
them
we going
in.
to have to look?
it's a good question. So
Dude, what are you fucking saying this on your body camera for? How stupid are you? We're going to barricade people in now when you know that they're in there? We got some dumb people. Let's blame it on the heat. If this is August in Salt Lake, it was hot that day, right? Your brain's a little bit fucking cooked. Holy shit.
Because it's...
if it were just simply a trespass, I wouldn't ask my guys to go in.
Yeah, I know.
The only thing is, so homicide's not coming out for this.
They're not?
No, they're not. They said they won't. So that's kind of where I'm like,
Homicide in Salt Lake. If you're a homeless person, they don't give a shit if you were fucking violently murdered. Nah, fuck them. We don't need them. So there's your answer with Salt Lake Police on that one.
push the issue and go in.
Because... yeah, I mean, I guess it's up to you guys with stripes, but if it was me, I'd barricade the door.
Now he's saying if we could call in and see if anyone knows this guy, no one's in trouble.
Well, we can't get anybody to answer, so... but we can do it again.
Split.
Hey, is there anybody up there that knows this guy in the tent? Your buddy in the tent, does anybody know his name?
With no response, the officer closes the door.
I throw like portable welder in one day, and I'm just
Yeah, just-
man, just weld.
Well, that...
You know what I mean?
Guys, you're on body camera. I get it. Trust me. There are times, and we, before we had body cameras, you joked around about the shit. You made inappropriate comments as to deal with shit. If you're gonna see, and this is the leeway I'll give them. Yeah, you're when you like correction officers. Correction officers just they have my respect probably more than any other a branch of law enforcement out there, because when they're in jail, they are in jail. Cops get fresh air, get to drive around a squad car. Correctional officers are in fucking jail. And the shit they see, which probably would blow away street cops. I'm gonna tell you, I've said it a million times, you want to have an improved police force across America, every single cop needs to spend 2 years in corrections first. But you're going to be a product of your environment. So when you're a police officer and you see this, you see how homeless act, you see like the authority for when it comes down to talking about law enforcement dealing with homeless is Officer Dion Joseph from Skid Row and what he's dealt with for 30 years. I've never seen him talk badly about it, but I'm sure in the back of his mind that with his family, with his friends, he has used colorful anecdotes that were necessary for him to purge because he's a fucking human being. So I get it. When you're on camera, you're wearing the uniform, save it till your camera is docked, save it till you're in the locker room, till you're in roll call, till you're off body camera with somebody else's. And if you can't stand the fucking people because they're scum and they're dirty and they're the dregs on society, that's fine. That's your opinion. You still swore an oath to uphold them and give them the exact same level of care as you would from somebody who owns $1 million plus mansion in your city. It is what it is. This is what makes cops superior human beings. Those who understand that the scum piece of shit, drug addict, homeless fuck who's on the street, they deserve the exact same level of care as anybody else. So you want to joke around about it? I get it, man. But those days are over. The days of you actually expressing yourself like this, hold yourselves to a higher standard. Clearly, Salt Lake City Police, they don't give a shit about their homeless population.
Yeah, exactly.
As they wait for the medical examiner to arrive, Officer Mullinex approaches Officer Smiggle and Keep and delivers a shocking warning.
Just be wary. When they move him, he might explode.
Good chance he will.
You been on a dead body? No, you haven't been on a dead body.
No, this is the first one.
So you got to help move.
No. Really?
Yeah, your first dead body's always a sight. Mine was Bad Brad Brennan. Hit a tree. God, that had to be... It was midnights I was on, so it was winter time. Could have been February. Yeah, I think it was February. Hit a tree in his car by himself. Head exploded all over the inside of the vehicle. That was surreal. Your first dead body. Don't forget that one.
You helped move him?
Yes.
Okay.
You didn't think that was a thing?
No, I didn't know that.
That's the job.
I've moved plenty of
No, I didn't
people.
know that.
Yep.
Okay.
Meanwhile, while standing guard near the closed building door, several officers share their perspective.
Now, typically you don't move the body till the coroner gets there. At least I was in our state. And then I'm not going to lie, I always found a reason not to. It's like when a coroner showed up, I'd walk around the building to check the perimeter. I did not fucking like moving dead bodies.
On the homeless.
I don't think any of us would live the same way that the people here live when they're homeless. We'd probably have a tent in the backpack and like be out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Keep our stuff consolidated.
There'd be a reason you're homeless though, like not like these guys where they're all dopers and addicted to vices.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, a lot of it comes down to just this. And yeah, you can give them a diagnosis to explain it. The diagnosis is correct, but in layman's terms,
yeah,
that's why they can't stay housed.
I get it. I get it. I mean, theoretically, there's absolutely nothing wrong from what they're saying because they're still humans expressing their humanity. Problem is, you're on public dime, and it's just like the TikTok cops who are in their squad cars in uniforms, putting out lipstick, talking about their hair care routine. This is the same shit. A standard of excellence. You see shit that the public can't see. You need to raise your standards and be an absolute professional. And for some strange reason, we don't get it. When I was in the academy, body cameras weren't a thing just yet. And I'll never forget her. Sue, I can't remember her name, blonde haired. She kept telling us all the time, you live your life in a fishbowl. People are all on duty, off duty. They are always watching you. And for the most part, they're looking for a reason to get you, hamstrung with your department. You're a cop. You get in your car. You go drive around the block, off duty, and your neighbor sees that you're not wearing your seatbelt. They're going to call and complain to your department because you know better, because they just can't stand cops and they want to get you in trouble. So I don't know why anybody in today why you guys still give the public any room to criticize you. Yeah, you're expected to have a standard of excellence that surpasses every other profession, and this isn't it.
Trying an alternate strategy to identify the man, the officers take note of his various tattoos. They cross-reference them with their criminal database, but are unable to find a match. A sergeant contacts homicide and confirms they're not coming to the scene.
There is tattoos. Yeah. Not really anything suspicious.
Yeah, at least not yet, so.
So you pick him up and there's a knife in his back.
Right, you roll him over, you're like, oh, that's a gunshot hole.
Yeah. You want to pose for a gunshot.
Right, but that's,
Unless there's a knife sticking out of him.
So far, none of this bothers me. It's just the trampling on the crime scene. Okay, whatever. If I were brass, I'd walk up. Because, you have those dick sergeants, but when you look back on stuff, you're like, yeah, that was a good idea. We used to have, it would be February, 2 o'clock in the morning. 5 of us would be over at the gas station or White Hen getting coffee. And then, one of the senior guys on the scene would get a call to his cell phone from the commanding sergeant or the new midnight lieutenant who got put there. And now he's pissed. And he would say, go drive around. Because he doesn't want to see 5 squads at one gas station. And all of us are like, it's fucking 3 a.m. on a Tuesday. Nothing is going on. But it's public perception. I said it was the same thing. It's like it was my first commander. I'm a day. It's my first day out of the academy. I'm at the department, and he's got to run some errands, so I got to go with him. And I'm sitting in the squad in his squad car with him, passenger side seat, and I'm fucking nervous. And he keys up because we used to have 5. It was our F1 and F2, but F5 was solo for our department. And he calls out I still remember the guy's name. He called out so-and-so in F5. And he didn't like that it was summertime, it was June, and the seasoned cop was driving around with his arm out of, the driver's side window. And he told me, he goes, I don't like that. I don't ever want to see you doing it. And I'm like, I'm thinking, what's the big fucking deal? You're driving with your arm around, the arm out the car on day shift. Because when the public sees it, it just does not look professional. You look as if you're not as focused. And it was there that I started to go, okay, make sure your boots are shined. Make sure your uniform is tailored. Make sure that, you are speaking properly. And it wasn't always that way. Anybody who's ever worked with me knows I fucked around all the time on duty. But looking back, I appreciated the sergeants who were a little bit of a hard ass who walked up and said, it's unprofessional. You're right. So in this instance, you're on body camera. It's unfucking professional. Hold yourselves to a higher standard.
He's just got a lance in his spine.
When the medical examiner finally arrives, they quickly catch her up to speed. As she examines the body, officers exchange remarks.
Feel on the dirty.
Break the seal. It's awesome. When you take your vest off at the end of swim, that's breaking the seal. 1,000 times worse.
When that happens, I'm not even joking.
Take a big.
Yeah,
Take a big.
Or just embrace the fire. You know what? If you do that, if you take a breath.
Now there's tons of you guys standing around getting paid to do nothing. So, take advantage of it.
5.
According to official documents, scoring a 5 is a reference to Recruit Smiggle's daily observation report.
So what do they do to break the seal on him?
Moving.
The moving. Okay. The movement is...
The movement
no, they
jostles everything up.
Slice him open here. He smells pretty bad.
Yeah, this guy Smeagol is clearly an FTO. The 5 was like a 1 to 5 system, and SIFA, self-initiated field activity, is what they're looking for. So, he's at this point, and what he's about to do, it's like you can't question. If you look at the new cops that were with Chauvin, they're not going to tell them to get off him. I think because they're new cops. New cops are not going to say shit because A, they don't know what's up, and B, they don't know what the repercussions are from their coworkers if they do challenge them back. So it's a fucking trick bag.
Kind of smells a little bit like rotting fish or something.
Yeah. Does it smell like bite for him?
It's a different smell.
It's a different smell, and it's greasy, and it'll stick in your nose for...
You got to trim your nose hairs after this.
I'm serious, it does.
It'll just stay.
Just sticks to you.
It's interesting how different it is.
Why do you think that is? Like, just
because people are it's supposed to smell like black so that we aren't cannibals. We don't enter.
As the medical examiner retrieves a gurney with the help of 2 contractors, Field Training Officer Mullinex joins the group. His next instruction to recruit Smiggle sets in motion a horrifying chain of events.
Hey, Buzz, on, go help.
I feel like you're pranking me.
I'm not. I'd be to that body. My first dead body I'm in. Go help.
Yeah, nothing out of the ordinary with this. We did it all the time. Like I said, I found every reason not to. The coroner would walk in, and I'd kind of walk around the corner.
Why are you smirking like that?
Because it's just funny. But you think it's a joke, but I legitimately.
So do you mind if we just do like some control popping?
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you guys need any help lifting him, or?
You want to help?
I'm just. They're telling me. I think they're pranking me. Yeah.
I have to go back to that. I don't know who said that. Do you mind if we do some controlled popping? I have to see who said this.
Why are you smirking like that?
Because it's just funny. But you think it's a joke, but I legitimately.
So do you mind if we
Contractor. Do you mind if we just do
like some control popping?
I've never heard that. I've never heard of anybody being touched in any type of medical way on scene like that. The coroner, and I don't know the rank of the coroner. I've heard before that the coroner is actually the most powerful person, even above the sheriff in the county. I would say the medical examiner coroner has the final say on something, but if you sit there and you even remotely get me involved with this, not a fucking chance, man. No, I will be insubordinate. I'm not getting involved with this.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you guys need any help lifting him, or?
You want to help?
I'm just. They're telling me. I think they're pranking me. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah.
You may not want to help, but we're going to allow him to help.
There you go.
You allow me to help? All right.
Take this.
All right. What do you want me to do?
Recruit Smiggle is handed a box cutter by a contractor working with the medical examiner's office, and his fellow officers stand by as he does the unthinkable.
Shield your face.
Shield.
It looks like it's mostly gas.
Go ahead and just pop all the blisters.
Right there?
Yes, sir.
Anything inflated?
Yeah, just poke it.
That's just gas.
Yeah. Get ball. There you go.
All right.
Yeah.
Aaron, do you want a sheet?
Yeah.
What might this look?
Let me.
What's up?
You can give it.
Oh, okay. Right, here you go. Yes. You guys suck.
We had to do that.
That's okay.
I legitimately moved my first dead body.
I wasn't paying attention because I was looking at your comments. I want to see if he actually fucking did that.
Cutter by a contractor working with the medical examiner's office, and his fellow officers stand by as he does the unthinkable.
Shield your face.
Shield.
It looks like it's mostly gas.
Go ahead and just pop all the blisters.
Right there?
Yes, sir.
Anything inflated?
Yeah, just poke it.
That's just gas.
Yeah. Get ball. There you go.
All right.
Yeah.
Aaron, do you want a sheet?
Yeah.
What might this look?
Let me.
What's up?
You can give it.
Oh, okay. Right, here you go. Yes.
How fucking stupid do you have to be? I mean, literally, the IQ of police officers is dropping faster than I don't know what. I don't have a comparison good enough. How much of a vile scumbag do you have to be to think that you're better than other human beings, even in their dead form, to do this? It's, don't get me wrong. I mean, I love to fuck around on the job, but there's some things, man, you just don't do.
You guys suck.
We had to do that.
That's okay.
I legitimately moved my first dead body.
Really?
I don't want him to stink though, so let's sit in the car with him.
Come sit with me.
Right now.
Yeah, it's right now. Can I even listen to the cats, sir?
You smell it now, right? It's really bad now.
Yeah.
Back, right?
I'm surprised there was no liquid.
I was too. It was gas.
As the medical examiner moves the body to the gurney, officers Peterson and Keep share their observations.
Isn't it weird that his clothes probably fit him at one time?
Yeah, at some point those probably fit.
And you know, like the Hulk when he hulks up. Yeah.
Moments later, training officers Keep and Mullinex check in on recruit Smiggle.
You okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Throw up?
No. No, that's fine.
All right, just making sure.
Have you cut his arm so his fluids leak?
Yeah,
it was
he got
gas.
the blisters.
Yeah. Gas blistering.
He wouldn't go touch the body. Like help him move. I'm just
Because they started giving me about it. They're like, oh yeah, so you're new. Yeah.
So the reason I keep asking you if you're okay is the gut check, right? Like, because there's a lot of recruits who quit after they deal with bodies.
That's fine.
Sure you're all right?
Yeah, I'm fine.
I mean, you've got to pop.
Is this hazing? You guys pushing somebody as far as he can fucking go? And what you're actually training him to be a scumbag. You're actually giving him an initiation into the fact that you don't give a shit about the citizens you serve. There's no professionalism in this. And I get it. I've said it a million times. I get the dark humor. I get the fucking inappropriate comments. I get the debauchery. I really do. But when you're so brazen about this as being professionals, you guys all need your fucking head checked. Not one of you deserves to be on the street, because how are you acting? Where's the line drawn? If you're willing to get somebody to pop dead blisters on a dead body, it's minute. You know, I mean, when you're really in the grand scheme of things, who does it hurt? Nobody. But it's an integrity issue, right? How far? How far will you go? Where will you not stop? Hey, pull that guy over. You didn't see him wearing a seatbelt, did he? Well, yeah, I did. You sure you want this job? You didn't see him wearing his seatbelt, did he? No, you're right, I didn't. Hey, that guy's got a nice watch. We're doing a premise check. You like that watch? Yeah, so do I. You like that watch? Where's the line? There's no line. You guys will fucking cross any line if you're willing to do this kind of shit. There's joking around, there's coping, and there's dealing with things that you see. And then there's just being unprofessionals who proved that they don't have the right to actually serve in this profession. You guys are on that one.
Pops and bubbles.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Okay. You know, so.
You're not going to out?
No, I'm good.
It's okay if you do.
Yeah, I'm fine.
He's being genuine with us.
No, I know.
Just want to make sure you're all right. I don't want you to pass out while we're driving or something, get lightheaded. You feeling good?
Yeah.
Okay.
All good.
You will have dreams about it.
Okay.
This part, yeah.
At the end of the day, any and all mention of the box cutter and the popping of blisters on the male's body is left entirely out of their official reports. Fingerprints later identified the man as 47-year-old Jason Harold Lloyd, and his family was notified of his passing. 4 days after his body was discovered, 2 unidentified officers approached a police sergeant who shared their recruits informed them of possible misconduct, launching an internal investigation by the Internal Affairs Unit. They examined the behavior conducted by several officers on scene. Training officer Paul Mullinex, who told recruit Smiggle to help move the body, was found in violation of 4 department policies. The report describes his behavior as both discourteous and disrespectful to the decedent, as well as officer and training Smiggle.
Hey, Buzz, I'll go help.
I feel like you're pranking me.
I'm not.
Officer Mullinex was removed from the FTO program and placed on a 3-day suspension without pay. Officer Michelle Peterson, whose comments were described as disrespectful and derogatory, showing disregard for the basic human dignity of the decedent, was found in violation of 2 department policies.
Again, I don't mind that. People are shit. People are scumbags. Cops will see the worst of fucking humanity. I don't mind the language. You can call somebody a scumbag, piece of shit, asshole who should be dead. You got to know when to do it. I've said it a million times. If you really want transparency, body cameras need to run 24/7 on agencies. Just like we have live feeds and live capabilities, you need to have police agency A, and it's a town of 30,000 people, right? And they have a Facebook page. And their Facebook page is going to give you, hey, tonight's lineup is officer so-and-so, so-and-so. You got 8 patrol officers on duty. These are their body cameras. You can click on this, and you could watch them in real time. And you get the people, you guys love reality TV. You'll be sitting back watching 24/7 live stream to your police body cameras. That being said, the basic fundamental concepts of human nature needs to be allowed. So when a cop actually goes up to a car and somebody's an asshole, they can come back to the car, shut the door, go, what a fucking cunt. And you're not going to hold it against him because he's allowed to do that. So this stuff, I don't have a problem with the language. I have a problem with knowing that you're in a fishbowl 24/7. You should have known better. So I would love to defend against that, but at the same time, you should have fucking known better.
Like the Hulk when he hulks up. Like that.
Officer Peterson was issued a written warning.
It's bullshit. She got it because she didn't stop anything else, and they had to ding her on something.
Training Officer Mark Keep was found to have violated 8 department policies. The report states that Officer Keep acted in a way that was unprofessional, bullying, and disrespectful of the deceased. Additionally, it was found that Officer Keep's self-admitted direction to Smiggle to not include critical details regarding Smiggle's actions in the final report did constitute a direct violation of department policies.
Yeah, that's fucking lying. Don't get me wrong. I was never in the military. It's my biggest regret in life. I never joined the Marines, but I was a competitive wrestler. We had seniors bullying and hazing us. I 150 fucking 1,000% support bullying. Bullying makes men. You either crush under the pressure or you rise up and you fucking become something better yourself. Bullying in professions like law enforcement, it's needed. It's needed. I was hazed to a degree, and one of the guys who did the biggest hazing became my closest fucking friend and partner on duty. And we had a phenomenal relationship working together, and we achieved a ton as we worked together on the street. So when it comes to that, I'm not, the hazing stuff, again, time and place. Time and place. The public will not understand it. You'll understand it in the department, but if your body cameras are on you all the time recording, you're on the public dime. You have to know when and where to do certain shit.
You guys suck.
We had to do that.
That's okay.
According to a press release from the Salt Lake City Police Department, Officer Keep resigned. Internal Affairs determined that Smiggle violated only one policy.
I don't like the resign stuff because if you didn't know about it, he can go somewhere else and do the same shit. So everything, it's what it is.
Policy, which prohibits discourteous, disrespectful, or discriminatory treatment of the public.
I just poke it.
That's its gas.
There's no record of discipline for recruit Smiggle. A letter dated February 10th, 2025 confirms the district attorney's office declined to seek criminal charges. A later examination of Jason's body did not find any trauma or injury, and according to the Salt Lake City press release, his death was ruled as accidental, though it didn't provide further details. On her public Facebook page, Jason's sister states that he had a heart of gold and continues to encourage others to share her brother's story.
It's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. I mean, the problem is that the cop, the trainee, what's he supposed to do? Stand up against everybody else? But again, this is the hard part about being an FTO. You don't know what's what, and I don't know. It's ridiculous. With the one who had the 8 violations, fire him. You need to start making examples. There's a time, a place, and a way to do all this shit, and you guys just aren't getting it yet. So, I mean, thanks, Mark, for sending that video. It's fucking vile, and it shows that the nature of camaraderie, which is built. It's built through hazing, bullying. You know, you got to know who you could trust. There's a time to be professional as a cop, which is all the time, but you can be part of the brotherhood too within that. You don't separate them at all. So I fuck those cops. That was just ridiculous. All right, I got to get some of your calls and texts here. Call in if you want. All right, let me look at some stuff here. Let's get to absolute 708-982-0974. 708-982-0974. We do this every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 Central, 7 Mountain, 6 Pacific. Again, this is about changing cop culture. We talk about anything after that point. I just featured a couple different things. And there we go. Hang on. 615, giving you a call back.
Hello.
Hey, I thought I'd give you a call live because I didn't want to text back respond, but you are live if you wanted to offer any insight or info to anything we're talking about.
Yeah, I wanted. I was actually. Did you get that question I texted you?
No, I wasn't wearing my cheaters at the time, so I couldn't see it. Sorry.
That's all right. No. First of all, I followed you for a while, and I think you're. I applaud your efforts. I think you're dead on with everything with law enforcement today. And I was just curious. It's a simple question on these TikTok cops that I watch sometimes with you. I think it's ridiculous. I'm like you. Do you ever hear from these TikTok cops, or do you hear from their departments like making disciplinary actions, or are they defending these cops? I mean, do you ever hear from these people?
So I've actually heard from 2 females called me, and I after listening to one, I sat there, listened to her, and she was so upset she didn't see things the way that I had pointed them out, and I listened to her, and I gave her so much credit for having the spine for calling me that I actually wrote a very long letter to her department, and I posted it all over my social media page, giving her a ton of props for her recognition for this, but her behavior really didn't change. Right? Another one called me. We had the same conversation. And she's just been kicking ass apparently at her department because she didn't see that, how my actions could wind up hurting my career. 2 officers, 1 female, sat there and cried to her content that I doxed her. But then she apparently got the hint because she deleted her own Instagram page. And another one was a representative for an entire police department. I can't remember which one it was. And I put their stuff up. I sent the content to the mayor, to the I can't remember which department it was, but they deleted their Instagram page or their TikTok page. So some stuff has been done, and I don't mean to do it. You can have fun. You could be a female who's attractive and embrace your sexuality and do all that shit. You can't do it when you're in your uniform or you're on duty in your squad car. Learn to separate the fucking two, and these kids just don't get it.
No, I agree with you 100%. I think you're dead on. That's exactly right. Because I don't think they can figure out, or they haven't, these cops today. I don't want to, throw all of them in the barrel, but, you know what I'm saying? The caliber of cops today. I don't know how else to say it.
We didn't.
They just don't.
Social media was just getting big in 2015, and there was only a handful of us on Facebook that were doing it. And then all of a sudden, all of our departments started creating policies saying you cannot film any content in your uniform or representing yourself as a police officer at all. Even Tommy Norman, who I think is the shining example of what a social media cop should be, he could not film anything in his uniform anymore. But then certain officers started to go sue their departments saying, you're violating my constitutional right to free speech, and they won. So now this is what you have. Not to mention the fact that you said you're retired, right?
Yeah.
When did you first get on?
I was in 89.
89. Yeah. How many people showed up to the test at your testing?
Oh man, tons. I was with Los Angeles Police Department.
Thousands.
Yes, tons. And I remember our academy class was, 250, and I think we graduated with 150. They weeded out 100 in the academy.
So what does it tell you that now we had consortiums out here in Illinois? And I got blessed. I mean, I showed up to my town and there was just it wasn't thousands, but the consortiums had thousands. Chicago police had thousands. What does it tell you now? Did you ever, because we never, did you ever have advertising and recruiting for police? That blows me away that we're now at a point that police agencies have to advertise to get people to do the job because nobody's showing up for these tests. And this is the quality of cop you're getting on the street.
That's exactly right. That's 100% correct. It's sad. It's sad. It really is.
It absolutely blows me the fuck away. So these TikTok cops, it's the citizens are in danger. How do you get a cop come out and do a job and go to a hot call and actually expect to know what to do when their head is so focused on their social media? I mean, I'm 50 years old and I didn't grow up with social media, but still, if I post something and that, like right now, I will be checking my phone for the comments and the likes and this and that stuff frequently. I can't imagine being in a squad car, putting a post up, and then wondering, is my content going to go viral? Because these kids grew up on social media. That's their dopamine hit. So now you're going to a call, you get a domestic, and then how do we know you're not going to be looking at your phone? Because everybody texts and drives. They all do. But now you're a cop, lights, sirens, radio, computer. You're going to be seeing what the status of your call is, or your post is, while you're going to call. Where's your head at? So it's horrible.
Yeah. Well, again, thank you, and I appreciate everything you're doing, man.
I appreciate the support. Thank you, man. Thank you so much.
You bet.
All right, 708-982-0974. I got to call some of you guys back. Let me get to this. 520, calling you next.
Hello?
Yeah, sorry I missed your call. What's going on in your life?
Oh, nothing. I'm having a good life. I always have a good life. But so I'm out here in Tucson, in Pinellas County, or the Pinellas where Frank. I'm sorry, I'm behind on your podcast, but or in your life. But Frank, Friday with Frank, he's in a town between Phoenix and Tucson, and I know that he's on a Brady list, and very few, if any, of his tickets ever go to court because he can't actually testify.
Yeah,
he can't do anything.
Frank and I don't speak. He actually blocked me. And I'll always give him an opportunity to. What he was on the Brady list for, from what I heard, was just altering a date on a report. Now, I don't know any of the circumstances to it. The Brady list pretty much means that you can't testify in court. So, and his the reason he and I had a falling out was because his girlfriend is also a cop and she has a problem with me. So I went to him directly and said, hey, I'm going to blast your girlfriend online because she's threatening to put my personal text messages out there. So fuck her. And then he blocked me for that. So we don't talk. But I just personally, and I've told this to him on podcasts, I don't care for how he speaks to people in the public, mainly because it can trickle down into how other people think they could talk to. But the Brady list, I don't know how that works with his department. If you're saying, how do you have information that his tickets don't go to court because of his lack of ability to testify?
Because they pull over people that's going on Highway 10 between Phoenix and Tucson all the time. So a lot of people driving in that area get tickets. And everyone I know that got a ticket, if they got a ticket from him, it never made it to the actual court system.
Yeah, Pinellas County's got something wrong with him. I mean, you got Frank's behavior. His girlfriend's behavior is extremely unprofessional. And then you had, I asked Sheriff Mark Lamb, who blew me off twice for podcasts. He committed to podcast twice and then canceled last minute. He's on a podcast where he was acknowledging the reason he became a cop was because he got to drive fast, carry a gun, and rough people up. I have zero respect for anybody with that fucking mindset, but it seems to be the norm with Pinellas County.
Yeah, it's a small area. I don't know the population, but it's not that much. It's just sandwiched between two big cities. Mm. That's all. Like, I'm sorry, I don't know anyone that has a lot of good things to say about Pinellas County.
That's what it is.
In this area. The second thing, like, I think that my biggest thing was cops. And I'm not trying to be mean. I think that cops need discipline. They need to, whenever they're engaged and they're emotional, they're paid to learn how to not shut that off, but paid to stop. A criminal is not paid to stop. They'll go the distance. But once a cop ends, it should end.
I've said it. This is why law enforcement, if cops actually treat themselves to the highest standards possible, the job, you have to look at it this way. You could have a criminal who shows up on scene and with his bare hands goes into a daycare center and strangles to death every toddler and infant in the place. And a cop shows up and that cop has to keep their emotions in check and deal with the force necessary to effect an arrest or terminate life-threatening behavior that includes sending that person to court for due process because they're still afforded the constitutional right of due process. The public, you or me, can walk up, fuck that guy. We're going to stick our thumbs right in his eye and scramble his brains and put our fist right down his throat and punish him. Cops can't do that. This is why I believe the cops are superior humans, because they have to. There's that ceiling where they have to keep themselves in check and go, I can't go any further. I have to abide by the oath I swore, the Constitution, and the law. And those who do that and keep their humanity in check, that's why I support them so much. And that's why I consider that when they do that the right way, they are superior human beings.
That's why I feel, because I've watched watched things where Army guys were being shot, got IEDs, and they were able to take person POW within a moment, and they had that discipline. And I feel that's more severe under that condition, more emotional under that condition. 18-year-old, 20-year-old kid can do it. Why can't 25, 30-year-old cop do it?
Yeah, and their age difference need to be raised to 30 as well, too. So, I mean, I agree with you. I appreciate the call, and I understand.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank
Have
you.
a good night.
Thank you. All right, 708-982-0974, 605 area code. I got to call you back.
This is Mark.
Hi, this is Dominic Izzo. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Good. You're live. What's going on?
Oh, well, first of all, I appreciate everything you've been doing with talking with like Sean Reyes and, Lackluster and things like that. That's great.
Those are great guys. Yes.
Yeah. And I appreciate that because it helps get everything out there.
I did a podcast with Chili DeCastro in 2022.
Yeah, I won't care for him at all.
I won't be. I will not. He's wanted to. I won't. I mean, I respect what he does, but I do not respect how he does it. I won't be giving him the time of day again.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. But, I was kind of curious about this. When I was younger, long story short, I wanted to be a forest ranger, which, obviously, gets my age there. But it would take 8 years of me to go to school to become a forest ranger.
Why is that?
Because all the laws that you got to learn. You got to learn all the laws. You got to learn all, the federal laws, the animals. You got to learn botany, biology, everything. You got to learn all this stuff. You got to learn all your fish, everything else. And here we have cops that are going in there and they only get a couple weeks, couple months of training, and they're out on the street. And that just doesn't make any sense to me sometimes. It's like, why is there not more training?
Doesn't make sense at all. Forest ranger, would that be the same as kind of like fish and wildlife?
Well, it would be a fish and wildlife thing, except now they kind of got them departmentalized down. But back then, a forest ranger, when I was a kid, which I'm only 5 years older than you, when I was a kid, a forest ranger had to.
Hey, let me ask you a question.
Know everything.
At what age do we become senior citizens?
When you feel like it, I suppose.
Good.
I don't know. 80. I'm not a senior citizen until I'm not walking anymore. So.
No, go ahead. I interrupt you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just don't understand. I think, especially with, police only have to learn, the local laws, the state laws, the federal laws, the Constitution. They have to learn those. And they go through that in a couple of weeks, couple of months, maybe, and they don't learn anymore.
Yeah, I've said it a million times. The training standard is a fucking joke.
Yeah, I mean, to be a forest ranger, which back then that's what they had, a forest ranger. Then you had to know state laws, federal laws, city laws, and then you had to go in and learn animals. All your animals, all your plants. You had to go through botany,
wildlife. Yep.
Everything.
Don't touch the ducks.
Yeah, so you have to learn all of that, and then you have to learn how to investigate on a scene. Is this an actual accidental shoot, or did they actually shoot this animal? you have to
not to mention the fact
yourself
that, not to mention the fact, depending upon the state, a lot of you get a lot of satanic groups that love to do shit out in the woods. So I understand it. I appreciate it, but I don't have an answer for you. I don't know why the standards for one of the most important jobs in the world has such a fucking low threshold for entry. It blows me away. So I appreciate your call.
Well, thank you, sir. You have a great night.
You too. Thank you so much. All right, 708-982-0974, 425. I get to you.
Hello?
Hey, sorry I missed your call. You're live. What's going on?
Hey, first and foremost, I'd like to thank you for reviewing that video I sent in with Seattle PD's response to that guy in their parking lot.
Oh, gosh, yes. Okay, yeah. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, when I first saw it, the only word that came to my mind, and I'm not a police officer, so
that's okay, because Seattle PD, what he's talking about, I just did a video yesterday of a breakdown of a Seattle Police Department shooting where they had information, a subject was suicidal, and he was at the Home Depot parking lot, which butted up via a fence to their police department. He scaled the fence, and then the officers, it said the officers had knowledge it was a suicidal subject. Officers didn't seem to give a shit about it. Then the guy produced a knife, and their tactics were fucking horrible. The Seattle Police Department has their YouTube channel's comments off. Now, you're a citizen. I think that it's fair that you give your critique and what your feedback was so that they can read it and see where they need to improve their tactics.
Well, I absolutely agree. I mean, the first thing that came to my mind was sloppy. It just came off as uncoordinated, sloppy. No one kind of knew what they were doing. You have some people that kind of have an idea of what they're going to do. Other people have no idea. Some people don't have their guns. Some people have tasers. Like, what are you guys doing? Like, take 5 seconds to even just say it out loud what you're going to do. Like, hey, if this guy takes 2 more steps forward, we're shooting him. Something, because clearly the coordination there was lackluster. That's just my opinion from what came out to me. So I wanted to send it to you to see if I was horribly misplaced in that opinion, but I suppose that I am at least partially correct.
I did not like what happened. I thought it was abhorrent in their tactics and everything from start to finish. So that's my view, yes.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is Seattle, but still. So I wanted to call you and ask, so I live in the Seattle area, and I've seen some recent videos you've done in relation to dealing with, I guess this is on topic, mental health suspects or subjects. I want to get your further opinion on, because I know that you were against it, having a social worker riding with a officer to calls like that. Why do you believe that that's bad? And do you believe that officers should even show up at all to those calls?
No, I do. It's tactics wise, right? I don't believe in de-escalation tactics at all for cops. I'll tell you why. And here's why. Somebody sat there and they were like, I said this yesterday, and somebody said, you don't believe in de-escalation? Based on the quality of candidates that we have right now on the street, 100% now. So I'm 50 years old. I'll ask you a question, just based on your humanity, based on you being, a citizen who fucking is alive, living, breathing, and has life experiences. Who do you want or would think, and you already know the answer, would have the proper de-escalation tactics, even if I went through a class, somebody else with a class? Me, 50 years old. I started out in sales, retail. I went through the bar industry. I know how to talk to people. I'm a competitive athlete, martial arts expert. I don't need to prove myself to anybody. I show up on scene. You're traumatic. You have something going on. Do you want me to try to speak to you to de-escalate, or a 21-year-old TikTok cop who spends all their time fucking online, putting on their makeup, doing their hair care routine, doing a get ready for work with me, all this shit? Do you think that these children have the proper necessary skills, let alone mindset, to relate to a human being going through a traumatic event to offer any type of de-escalation skills?
Well, yeah, definitely. I would definitely pick you.
Okay, so here's the problem. So I don't mean to interrupt. to answer your question in a long form way. Now, number one, that's what we have. That's your option. You just saw a bunch of fucking grown men and women use a box cutter to put their trainee through slicing over blisters on a dead body. So you saw where their mindset is. The candidate of cop we have on the street right now, as a generalization, is not mentally equipped to serve the public in the way they need to on a professional and humanitarian level. Full stop, long story, that's how that goes. When you put now you have these people who can't do the job. Now you're going to partner me, if I was a 21-year-old TikTok cop, you're going to partner me with a social worker. They're going to get in the way. Now you're going to have conflicting commands. I'm responsible now for not just the subject, but now the social worker. I 100%, and I used this in the reference of the Seattle police shooting the other day. Do not de-escalate. If there is a threat, you need to go from 0 to red immediately. Someone has a knife, close the distance, use your firearm to terminate life-threatening behavior. If that person dies as a result of what you did, that's not your fucking problem. Use force. Stop trying to talk them down, back up, gain grounds. Let's go get a less lethal. Absolutely not. You need to put police officers back at the point of being comfortable and having the mindset to use that violence, that aggression, that ruthless, just chaotic force when necessary, and stop watering the shit down. We've gotten so far away from it that the problem is the more that you put in social workers, the more that you do de-escalation, the more that you introduce the next gadget, the taser, the bolo, the less lethal, this and that, you're watering down men and women who can do the fucking job decisively when it needs to be done to get the result that's needed. So I am 100% against right now the current state of de-escalation and of social workers being involved on scenes.
That's actually a really good way to put it, because I guess I didn't really think about the combination of having essentially a cop not fit for the job in the first place, having to deal with another element during a call.
Dude, how the fuck you're going to teach some 21-year-old who does lip syncing videos to show up on scene and talk to you? You had a bad day. Your girlfriend fucking dumped you. You lost your job. You're going to go grab a pistol and do God knows what. You want some dumbass Hulkrilla who spends all his time in his social media fucking making dumb TikTok videos of skits of what he sees. You want him showing up to give you a big old Hulk hug that you're going to talk you out of it? These fucking children who are playing pretend police are going to get themselves, other cops, and citizens hurt or killed because they don't have a damn clue what they're doing. But we want to teach them de-escalation tactics, and we want to partner them with social workers. You're diluting the profession, and what needs to be done is swift, decisive action when it comes to use of force, both handcuffing somebody and using deadly force against them. So I am 100% both de-escalation and SEO or SEO. What did I say? The social worker, the social workers partnering with cops.
Right. And just to clarify, because I know people will twist your words into saying that you believe that officers should go to the scene of a suicidal subject and just put him down. What do you believe
if the force requires? If the force requires, yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I did agree with your analysis of that Seattle shooting, especially with the added notes that you mentioned, like being in front of the right in front of the entrance. Who knows who could have exited? And also just way too long, way too close, way too long, way too many warnings, way too many chances.
100%.
So I do agree. What do you believe is, and it's fine if you don't have the answer and you're just bringing it to light. What do you believe is the proper course of action if you had control over it in response to that? Would you, as a sergeant, as a lieutenant, would you send a guy that, like an older guy like you're describing? Would you, how do you believe we should go about that in the future?
Circumstances dictate tactics. You can't ever answer that because you're asking everybody to be the same across the board, have the same perception, same training skills, same experience. It's an impossible question to answer.
Yeah, I suppose that's right. So do you believe there's a step that we can take in the future to get closer to a universal answer?
Yeah, that would be federalized police, but we don't want that either.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, I appreciate the call, but yeah, there's no answer for it right now.
No, that's probably a good thing because that is more revealing than there being one.
I don't have the answers for everything. I just create the conversation. So I appreciate you being a part of it. Thank you.
No, that's just as important. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Have a good night.
Yep, you too.
All right, guys. I want to make one plug here really quick because he's in the comment section. Everybody needs to go over to follow 2 Cops, 1 Donut. 2 Cops, 1 Donut. I am subscribed, Sergeant Eric. If you look on my other channel, I am subscribed to you over here on 2 Cops, 1 Donut. And look, see, I'm subscribed to you. But I'm going to tell you, Sarge, you know you're not subscribed to my channel, but everybody else should be. So go ahead and check out Sergeant Eric and everybody else he has on 2 Cops, 1 Donut. They do police review body camera footage, and they got a good a panel of hosts who are on there with active and retired police officers. Guys, that's your Wednesday. We do this live every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 Central, 7 Mountain, 6 Pacific. You can call me, text me during the week, leave a voice note, voicemail, a text message. I will play them on air. You could be anonymous if you want. It doesn't bother me at all. I don't read your names unless you want me to. But that's it. We want to change cop culture, and the only way we do this is by having these conversations. I don't have all the answers, as you clearly see. I just create the conversations. Also, check out all the long-form videos and the police breakdowns I've done on this channel. I am a retired cop. You can support the channel by going and clicking on the link and go to Cop Talk Live over PayPal and support us. You could buy my book, Before the Badge, Everything You Need to Know Before You Become a Cop, forwarded by Sheriff Joe Arpaio. And you can check it out. I mean, use of force instructor, defensive tactics expert. I was former union president, fiduciary on the pension board, field training officer, and much more. And I just put my passion and experience out on critiquing law enforcement content in order to change culture by giving you awesome fucking men and women out there who are still doing the job all the resources to be a better cop than I could ever dream to be. That's the purpose. I don't hate on you. I'm just the bad guy. I am the villain in order to make you better. And I don't give a shit how that comes across. You guys have a great damn night, and I'll see you in the next video.